The following is an evening class given in Vasant Kunj in Delhi by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on July 7th, 2015. The class was about Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur Dham.
So, starting yesterday, I remembered some pastimes of Srila Prabhupada.
So starting yesterday, I remembered some pastimes of Srila Prabhupada.
Last year when I was saying on H.H.Jayapataka and ceremonies, his parents' house.
Last year when I was saying in Achintya Chaitanya's and Shiromani's parents' house,
we dedicated the evening to Prabhupada's pastimes.
We dedicated the evening to Prabhupada's pastimes.
So I just remembered something. I don't know how many days, just the details.
So I just remembered something with a few details.
But before I speak on that,
Before I speak on Srila Prabhupada,
I just wanted to mention how this is the month of Purushottam.
I just wanted to mention that this is the month of Purushottam.
I think March was frustrated because the Spartans were calling bad names to this month.
That the Adhik Mas was frustrated because the Smartas were calling bad names to this month.
So this month felt without protection.
So this month felt without protection.
So the month went to the sunrise month went to see Narayan.
So the month went to see Narayan.
And Narayan took the sunrise month to Golok Vrindavan.
And Narayan took the personified month to Golok Vrindavan.
And there, this month surrendered to Lord Krishna.
And there, this month surrendered to Lord Krishna.
Krishna said, I'll make you the most famous of all months.
So Krishna said, I'll make you the most famous of all months.
I'll endow you with my transcendental potency.
I'll endow you with my transcendental potency.
And by worshipping you, by practicing devotional service.
And by worshipping you, by practicing devotional service,
people will be very peaceful and happy in this world.
People will be very peaceful and happy in this world.
And after they leave the body, they'll come back to me.
And after they leave the body, they'll come back to me.
So, in fact, Krishna came to see the Pandavas when they were in exile.
In fact, Krishna came to see the Pandavas when they were in exile.
And told them how, in her previous birth,
and told them how, in their previous birth,
Draupadi had committed some offense to the Purushottam month.
That Draupadi had committed some offense to the Purushottam month.
And she prayed to Lord Shiva how she wanted a husband.
And she prayed to Lord Shiva how she wanted a husband.
But since she was very desperate, she said 5 times, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband.
She said 5 times, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband.
And then she got Maheshwar. He said once is enough.
So then Maheshwar said, once is enough.
Since you said 5 times, you get 5 husbands.
Since you said 5 times, you get 5 husbands.
It couldn't sound very good to a lady
That didn't sound very good to a lady,
to have 5 husbands.
to have 5 husbands.
But that was the background how she ultimately was married to the 5 Pandavas.
But that's the background of how she was ultimately married to the 5 Pandavas.
They were all very careful to observe the Purushottam month.
So they were all very careful to observe the Purushottam month.
So this is a very good month to offer lamb, to chant Hare Krishna.
So this is a very good month to offer a lamp, chant Hare Krishna.
Or start at this time.
Or to?
Start.
Or to start at this time.
Don't stop at the end of the month.
But don't stop at the end of the month.
Keep on going.
Keep on going.
So these are not in any order.
So these are not in any order.
Just how they come to mind.
Just how they come to mind.
In the back of the Lotus building,
In the back of the Lotus building,
where the present Panchatattva temple is,
where the present Panchatattva temple is,
there was a triangle of land which was not being cultivated.
there was a triangle of land which was not being cultivated.
It was not that big,
It was not that big,
but Prabhupada said every piece of land should be properly utilized.
but Prabhupada said every piece of land should be properly utilized.
This land should also be grown and offered to Krishna.
So on this land, something should also be grown and offered to Krishna.
And then in the evenings, sometimes the dogs would make a big racket.
And in the evenings, sometimes the dogs would make a big racket.
And this would disturb Prabhupada's rest
And this would disturb Prabhupada's rest
or his translation work.
or his translation work.
So he wanted some devotees to drive the dogs away.
So he wanted some devotees to drive the dogs away.
But he didn't want any harm to come to the dogs.
But he didn't want any harm to come to the dogs,
Because he said they're also the residents of the holy town.
because he said they are also the residents of the holy town.
And I was told that there's a dog that come before the Prabhupada's Vyasasana,
And I was told that there was a dog that would come before Srila Prabhupada's Vyasasan
and no one was there.
when no one was there.
And then we go out and take puffed rice and milk.
And he would go and take puffed rice and milk.
This dog would offer his obeisances
And this dog would offer his obeisances
to the son where Prabhupada sat.
to the asan where Prabhupada sat.
So it's hard to believe.
So it's hard to believe.
So I hid behind the lettuce and peeked in.
Hid behind the?
Lettuce wood.
I hid behind the lattice work and peeked in.
In our temple, the walls are lettuce and see-through windows.
In the temple, the walls are latticed, so you can see through.
So sure enough, a dog came in, lay down, and offered his prostrate obeisance.
So sure enough, a dog came in, lay down, and offered his prostrate obeisances.
Then he got up and came out.
And then he got up and came out.
I don't know which devotee it was.
So I don't know which devotee it was.
But Prabhupada once said that in Vrindavan, we don't want to make more monkeys or pigs.
But Prabhupada once said in Vrindavan, we don't want to make more monkeys and pigs.
Meaning that if one goes to Vrindavan and does sinful things,
Meaning that if one goes to Vrindavan and does sinful things,
then in the next birth they may become monkeys or something.
then in the next birth they may become monkeys or something.
Then the Prabhupada stayed in the Lotus building,
So Prabhupada stayed in the Lotus building,
and then the veranda is 11 feet wide.
and there the veranda is 11 feet wide.
The rooms are 22 feet wide,
The rooms are 22 feet wide,
and the opposite side of the veranda is 11 feet.
and the opposite side of the veranda is 11 feet.
So Prabhupada on many days he'd walk around on the veranda and chant.
So Prabhupada on many days he'd walk around and
Many days.
on rainy days he'd walk around and around on the veranda and chant.
One time, Prabhupada was giving some letter. He was dealing with at that time one email and WhatsApp.
So one time Prabhupada was getting a letter, and at that time there was no WhatsApp or email,
On Facebook.
no Facebook.
And he would put his head on his hands.
And he would put his head in his hands.
He looked up at me,
He looked up at me,
and you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like
he said, you don't know what it's like
to run an international, a worldwide spiritual movement.
to run an international, a worldwide spiritual movement.
Someone said 2 days ago
Someone said a few days ago
that someone had approached them
that somebody had approached them
and said that this movement is a religious movement.
and said that the ISKCON movement is a religious movement.
Therefore, they must be political.
Therefore, they must be political.
Therefore, they must be taking money
Therefore, they must be taking money
and sending it to foreign countries
and sending it to foreign countries
from India.
from India.
First time I heard that.
First time I heard that.
Because we rather have got lots of help from the foreign countries, Middle East.
Because we rather have gotten lots of help from foreign countries in the Middle East.
And we're not involved in any politics.
And we're not involved in any politics.
One party comes and another party goes.
One party comes, another party goes.
So we try to get whatever benefit we can
We try to get whatever benefit we can
to pursue our purposes.
to pursue our purposes
And whatever party is in charge.
from whatever party is in charge.
So
new people
are exposed to all kinds of criticisms, all that.
they're exposed to all kinds of criticisms and comments.
That's why, along with chanting, it's important to read Srila Prabhupada's books.
That's why, along with chanting, it's important to read Srila Prabhupada's books.
To have a philosophical basis.
To have the philosophical basis.
Because people are going to say all kinds of things.
Because people are going to say all kinds of things.
In Bombay, land which we got still agreement.
In Bombay, in the land that we got,
Sale agreement in Juhu.
On sale agreement at Juhu,
the landowner, he just took the money, and then wanted to drive us out, keep the money.
The landowner, he took the money and he wanted to drive us out and keep the money.
One Prabhupada, he was determined to keep this land for Krishna.
But Prabhupada was determined. He wanted to keep this land for Krishna.
So he built a two-wheeler, somewhat temporary structure.
So he built a two-wheeler, somewhat...
Two-wheeler.
Two?
Two-wheeler.
He built a tubular, somewhat temporary structure.
Not a two-wheeler.
Not a two-wheeler.
And he had Radha cross Bihari installed and put there.
And he had Radha Rasbihari installed and put there.
And he told them, I'll give you a nice temple.
And he told them, I'll give you a nice temple.
But please tolerate this inadequate facility for a little time.
But please tolerate this inadequate facility for a little bit of time.
And this landowner, he somehow influenced the police.
And this landowner, he somehow influenced the police.
And they went there raiding, trying to cut down the tube structure.
And they went there raiding, trying to cut down the tube section.
And there were local ladies and residents. They held on and they said, no, there's a temple, you can't touch it.
And there were local ladies and residents who held on and they said, no, this is a temple, you can't touch it.
So the local people supported.
So the local people supported.
And then the police had to leave.
So the police had to leave.
I was staying in Mayapur, East India.
So I was staying in Mayapur in East India.
Not about 2 hours north of Calcutta.
About 2 hours north of Calcutta.
And I would come sometimes to see Srila Prabhupada in Bombay.
And I would come sometimes to see Srila Prabhupada in Bombay.
So he'd take a walk on the Juhu beach.
So he would take a walk on the Juhu beach.
There was one Dr. Patel.
And there was one Dr. Patel.
And he joined up with the party of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples.
And he joined up with the party of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples.
And Prabhupada invited him to say some question.
And Prabhupada invited him to say some question.
And so he did discussions between Prabhupada and his doctor.
There were many discussions?
Heated.
So there were heated discussions between Prabhupada and his doctor.
And the doctor would say all kinds of crazy things.
The doctor would say all kinds of crazy things.
And then Prabhupada would smile, smash him.
And then Prabhupada would smile and smash him.
So there was a great mutual respect.
So there was a great mutual respect.
I was present in the room,
And I was present in the room.
and Sridhar Maharaj, he was a brahmachari
When Sridhar Maharaj, he was a brahmachari
at that time. He asked if he could take sannyas.
at that time, and he asked if he could take sannyas.
And Prabhupada said, "Are you sure you can follow the rules and regulations?"
And Prabhupada said, "Are you sure you can follow the rules and regulations?"
And he said, 25%.
And he said, 25%.
Can't do better than that.
You can't do better than that?
51%.
51%.
They were being very humble.
But he would be very humble.
So Prabhupada, knowing his disciples, he thought, and then he said, "All right, I'll give you sannyas. Come to Vrindavan and such and such date, and I'll give you sannyas."
So Prabhupada, knowing his disciples, he said, "All right, I'll give you sannyas. Come to Vrindavan on this and this date, and I'll give you sannyas."
When the Prabhupada got that land transferred to ISKCON name,
When Prabhupada got that land transferred to ISKCON name,
and the temple was built,
and the temple was built,
with Radha Hari and Sitaram and Nitai Gaur,
and he put Radha Ras Bihari, Sitaram, and Nitai Gaur,
and there were 2 towers of guest rooms.
and there were 2 towers of guest rooms.
One tower was known as the Prabhupada Tower,
So one tower was known as the Prabhupada Tower. 10 minutes.
and so in 1977, November, Prabhupada left the world.
So in 1977 November, Prabhupada left the world.
But early that year,
But early that year,
he was in Mumbai for some time.
he was in Mumbai for some time.
And somehow I had a service one day to stay out with Srila Prabhupada all night.
And somehow, I had a service one day to stay up with Srila Prabhupada all night.
And Srila Prabhupada woke up in the middle of the night,
And Srila Prabhupada woke up in the middle of the night,
and he said that his back was itching.
and he said that his back was itching.
I think he had excess urea in his blood.
I think he had excess urea in his body.
So anyway, he had itching back.
So anyway, he had an itching back.
I said, "Scratch my back."
So he said, "Scratch my back."
I was scratching. No, hard.
And I was scratching, no, hard.
And do I have fingernails?
You don't have fingernails?
I felt useless.
And I felt useless.
So I tried to scratch him on the back, and
So I tried to scratch him on the back.
I don't know if I fully satisfied him,
I don't know if I fully satisfied him,
but after some time, then he went back to rest.
but after some time he went back to rest.
He only rests for about 3 hours,
He'd only rest for about 3 hours,
or maybe 4.
or maybe 4.
You go to bed at 10,
He'd go to bed at 10,
you get up at 12 or 2 sometimes.
he would get up at 12 or 2 sometimes.
Then he would translate
And then he would translate
from Sanskrit to English
from Sanskrit to English
his books.
his books.
So his quarters are very nice,
So his quarters were very nice,
as compared to my quarters of simple facilities.
As compared to Mayapur, we had more simple facilities.
In Bombay, they had carved wood, carved marble, very nice.
In Bombay, they had carved wood, carved marble, very nice.
And they had a private kitchen on the same floor.
And they had a private kitchen on the same floor.
The whole floor was Prabhupada's.
The whole floor was Prabhupada's.
So around the temple, there were many three-story structures.
Sometimes, so around the temple, there were many three-storied structures.
And so Prabhupada, he would sit on the roof
So Srila Prabhupada would sit on the roof
of one of those buildings which we had enumerated the tenants and the tenants and else.
Sorry?
One of the buildings, the tenants.
One of the building with tenants.
The tenants are enumerated. They were reimbursed. You have to get a land that you own from a tenant in India.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. This just wants to repeat what I say, don't they? They all know.
I didn't know the word.
Anyway, one of the buildings we had was issued.
Anyway, one of the buildings we had was issued.
We had possession.
We had possession.
And he would sit on the roof.
And he would sit on the roof.
And the trees overhead.
There would be trees overhead.
And Bombay tends to be a little warm.
And Bombay tends to be a little warm.
Even in the winter.
Even in the winter.
It's kind of like temperature is more equal all year long.
The temperature is more equal all year long.
So Prabhupada, he would sit with his one piece.
So Prabhupada would sit with his one piece.
Front piece. And he'd be smiling.
And he'd be smiling.
And then he would invite questions.
And then he would invite questions.
Also, we only have about 5 minutes. I invite questions.
Also, we only have about 5 minutes, so I'll invite questions.
One girl said that she just came in May this year.
One girl said that she just came in May this year.
So everything was very new to her.
So everything was very new to her.
So she must have some question.
So she must have some question.
She's very sincere. She started chanting right away.
But she's very sincere. She started chanting right away.
She's saying that she doesn't have questions, but she can't see Guru Maharaj in this condition.
She's saying she doesn't have any questions, but she can't see you in this condition.
Why am I invisible?
Why am I invisible?
I asked Prabhupada, should we desire to live old age?
I asked Prabhupada, should we desire to live till old age?
And he questioned why.
And he questioned why.
He said with old age comes all kinds of physical problems.
He said with old age comes all types of physical problems.
Until 2008, I didn't have any major problem.
Until 2008, I didn't have any major problem.
I just chose Ayurvedic medicine.
I used to take Ayurvedic medicine.
And I had a stroke.
Then I had a stroke.
And recently I had pneumonia.
And recently I had pneumonia.
So some devotees rather say that I keep going on.
So some devotees say that I keep going on.
in spite of all these problems,
in spite of all these problems,
they find it very inspirational.
that they find it very inspirational.
And Abhishek here is helping to restore my strength.
And Abhishek here, he's helping me restore my strength.
And Doctor and Prabhupada, Krishna, and all the devotees,
And the Doctor and Prabhupada and Krishna and all the devotees,
they saved me this time.
they saved me this time.
Went to some hospital in Calcutta,
Who went to some hospital in Calcutta,
brand new hospital,
a brand new hospital,
nice facility,
nice facility,
with the deluxe rooms.
deluxe rooms.
Only thing is that the doctor didn't know how to do it.
The only thing is the doctor didn't know how to do anything.
He said, I think Swamiji won't live.
He said, I think Swamiji won't live.
And so then my secretaries and the health team flipped out.
So then my secretaries and health team flipped out.
The doctor here at the hospital said, fly him up, we'll take care of him.
The doctor here at the hospital said, fly him up, we'll take care of him.
So with that I was stabilized,
So like that I was stabilized,
went up to Delhi,
flown up to Delhi,
here I am.
and here I am.
Okay. So, I hope that this doesn't discourage you.
So I hope that this doesn't discourage you.
The real world is not a place planned to be for a long time.
The material world is not a place you should plan to be for a long time.
At the end of this life, go back to Krishna.
At the end of this life, go back to Krishna.
So the way to go back is serve Krishna in this life.
So the way to go back is to serve Krishna in this life,
And at the end of this life, you'll continue serving.
and at the end of this life, you continue serving.
Okay?
Yes, yes.
So,